The News at Noon starts right now.
Well, the rainy weather moved out of the area, but not before leaving its mark.
Yeah, we've seen water-covered roads and stranded cars. And at this hour, more than 1,800 people are still without power.
And now we're looking ahead. In just a few hours, more storms could roll through our area. And our meteorologist, Sarah Spivey, is tracking it all.
Yeah, those storms will probably move through after the sun sets. So think about closer to midnight is when we could see some storms again here in San Antonio. Although I don't think coverage will be as widespread as it was last night for us. And speaking of last night, here's a look at how much rain we saw at the San Antonio International Airport. 2 inches of rain. That is the highest daily rainfall total in 490 days, guys. Back in January of 2024 was the last time we received more than 2 inches of rain in a single day at the official rain gauge at the San Antonio International Airport. Right now, what we're seeing is just a few dying storms south of Cotulla and in northern Webb County. Otherwise, we've got mostly sunny skies right now around San Antonio, and it feels pretty great outside. It's a little humid, but temperatures right now are in the upper 70s. 79 in San Antonio, 79 in Bandera, 78 in Bulverde. In the low 70s, though, down near Pleasanton and Floresville, where there's a little bit more cloud cover. For the rest of the day, we're only going to see a high temperature today of 87. It's going to be a really pleasant afternoon, but later on tonight, particularly close to midnight in San Antonio, that's when our storm chances are going to go back up again. Coming up, we're going to talk about the risks and whether or not the storms might wake you up in the overnight hours, and even potentially how much more rain we could see around San Antonio. Details soon.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, speaking of that rain, last night's storms may have cleared out, but San Antonio is still feeling the effects today, specifically on the city's west side near Leon Creek, where some roads are still flooded and some cars are still stranded after stalling in high water. Well, our Devin Karp spent all morning checking out some of the worst spots.
That is like the biggest I've seen it so far. Like usually I'm able to bike through it, but today it was just completely flooded over.
Working in construction around the clock, it's not often Luis gets a day off. And when he wanted to go to his favorite park for a bike ride, he was welcomed by this. Lots of different roads along Leon Creek all look like this. Over on Penn Drive and Highway 151, over on West Commerce Street and West Military, and back here at Rodriguez Park.
Anytime that it rains pretty heavily, I do see this pretty often. I had to take the little old Highway 90 just to get to the old park, just to even come to the trail.
Some crews with San Antonio Public Works say that drivers don't do well when the roads get flooded, ignoring directions and driving through high water, which is what SAPD says caused this red SUV to end up stuck on West Commerce. And drivers kept going through while we were on the air.
So if you take a look over here, oh my gosh, we have actually got cars trying to drive through some of this high water here. As you can see with that red SUV right there, that's what happens if you drive and you don't make it.
And that wasn't the only time it happened.
Here you can see the water. Oh no, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. Okay.
No.
All right, folks. Well, I hope we don't have another stalled vehicle to show you coming up here soon. I, again, would not recommend this at all.
It was pretty nice. Try to come out, enjoy your day off.
Luis says he's tired of this happening every time it rains and wishes the city could help and knows he's not alone.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other people because I do see people come here as well and they take that little trail right there and that trail needs to be repaired as well.
In the meantime, he'll pick a new place to ride and wait for the water to recede. Devin Karp, KSAT 12 News.
All right, Devin, thank you. We're glad everybody's okay. Well, we did reach out to Councilwoman Melissa Cabello-Haverda, who covers that Leon Creek area, and she's in that SAWS meeting that we were talking about, drought conditions and the rainfall from last night, and she's going to share more information with us about the Flood Emergency Fund created for District 6 later on. Well, don't forget, it's passing showers or severe weather. It is important to have the KSAT 12 Weather Authority app so you know what's heading your way. You can download the app for free, and it's an easy way to get to the latest weather warnings and to the alerts.
Well, we got a lot of rain overnight, but drought is still on the mind of a lot of people. Happening now, SAWS is meeting with Municipal Utilities Committee to tackle that problem. Some of the things they're talking about are how to help customers with saving water, also enforcing watering rules. They are also looking for other water sources outside of the Edwards Aquifer and stopping leaks, like with the recent water main breaks. We'll let you know if and when they decide how to move forward. Well, we are getting ready for early voting to start. Elections, of course, in that citywide runoff election. We have 4 districts and, of course, our mayoral election. Our Garrett Berger, as our city reporter, has been following all of this. Garrett, what have you got for us today?
Well, right now we're seeing just kind of a trickle of voters out here at Lions Field. That's the site off of Broadway, typically a pretty busy site. But on the first day of early voting, we're seeing people come in and come out, but there's not really a lot of lines. Parking lot's not full. But we did talk with the elections administrator earlier today, and she says that since the May 3rd election, nearly 5,000 San Antonians have registered to vote. On top of that, she's hoping that maybe this mayor's race and council's race will draw more people out in the runoff than they did in the general May 3rd election. Not general election, the municipal election. Now, in any case, the people we're coming across here at Lions Field are mostly frequent voters, the type of people who come out to vote on most elections. Coming out today gets it out of the way. There's also less to consider in these two-way races. It's just the top finishers from the May election, not that full packed field. So with a narrower field, maybe an easier choice for voters, even if it is a second choice.
You know, there were a lot of people that ran in this, and my first choices were not the ones that got into the runoff, but I think we know how important this is, especially with the 4 years now on the council.
Okay, can you tell me, did you vote in the May 3rd election?
No, sir.
Okay, so can you tell me why not?
There was too many candidates for mayor, and I really couldn't decipher which one I wanted, so I had and waited, and then I voted today.
Well, if you come out to vote today, chances are you may run into one of the candidates. We've actually spoken to both candidates in the District 1 race and both candidates in the mayor's race here at Lions Field. This is the end game for them. This is the sprint to the finish. All the candidates in all 4 council races and the mayor's race getting out, trying to press flash, greet voters at the polls, drive people out. You know, there are people that we've heard talking to Councilwoman Sukor running for re-election in D1. She says she does come across people who didn't realize that an election is still going on. Well, it is. There are 4 council races and the San Antonio's mayor race. If you're a San Antonio city voter, you've still got some time to vote early. This is the first day of early voting, and then of course the June 7th runoff. Let's try to beat those low numbers that we had on May 3rd. Live at Lions Field, I'm Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
All right, Garrett, thank you for that live report. And a reminder, as you're heading to the polls, make sure to prepare so things will go smoothly. And right now on our website, KSAT.com, we have your sample ballot. The city's mayoral seat, of course, and 4 city council positions are up for grabs. Now, registered voters in San Antonio have more than 30 places to cast ballots. Polling locations include schools, libraries, churches, and community centers. Again, that election day is happening on June 7th.
Well, today the Bexar County Commissioner's Court is meeting to discuss gun safety and education. This comes after a 2-year-old boy got a hold of a gun and accidentally shot himself in the head. Luckily, Sheriff Javier Salazar says he's expected to be okay. We have been following that story, though, since it happened on Sunday. So we want to hear about how some of you feel about the importance of gun safety.
Well, it's important to secure your weapon because in classes we're taught that all guns are loaded. So with that being said, we definitely don't want to have bullets in the gun, and I go as far as getting the pin out of it too. So if they do find the bullets, they'll find the gun, but they're not going to find that little pin that fires a bullet.
Well, Commissioner's Court is underway. We'll bring you updates online and in our later newscast about what happens there.
Well, Cibolo leaders have taken issue with the city manager's decision to bring back the former public works director as a consultant.
Records show the contract for Timothy Foose was for $49,999. That's $1 under the threshold that would have required a presentation on it. Foose told KSAT he has since ended the agreement since it generated negative attention.
City manager's decision. You don't think that looks bad? That it wouldn't go up for public discussion? He could pass it as a budget amendment as part of... You need to ask the city manager, and it was done as part of a budget amendment. Watch the videotape. Yeah, I just said it was.
Well, tonight on the Night Beat, KSAT investigates how the deal came together.
Well, investigators are hoping you can help them track down the suspect who may be responsible for the death of 37-year-old Ardis Donnell Ford. The murder happened on April 10th at the Cubed Hotel on the northwest side on Rittiman Road near 410, just before 6 a.m. If you have any information, call the number right there on your screen. That's 210-224-7867.
The New Braunfels teen is impressive on the dance floor and also in the classroom. A look at our latest great grad.
U.S. air travel got off to a bumpy start this year, but things are picking back up. How cheap flights to popular destinations are helping fuel the boom.
There are plenty of things to do here in San Antonio, but in the summer months, that temptation to stay home might be pretty strong. However, some families have options for indoor activities that are free and right in your neighborhood.
The summer and travel season kicks off unofficially with Memorial Day, but if your plans don't include hitting the road or the airways, you can find something to do right here in San Antonio.
Well, San Antonio Botanical Garden has announced it is hosting an all-day music festival. So the garden's teaming up with Alamo City Arts for their Make Music San Antonio. That's scheduled for June 21st. That's happening on a Saturday. That's from 10 a.m. until 10 p.m. So more than a dozen musical artists will be performing live performances, and some will be hosting jam sessions for you and the whole family. So the best part of this event, it is free, but you will need to pre-register. So tickets are available now.
And a lot of us parents looking for something to do with the kids already out for the summer. The San Antonio Central Library's 30th anniversary may be what you need. This Saturday, May 31st, the library is celebrating with the free summer kickoff event. Mayor Ron Nirenberg is slated to start the ceremony at 10:30 in the morning. After that, the Big Red Enchilada will host a scavenger hunt, a self-guided escape room, little kid construction zone, and a lot more. And to help everyone stay cool, the staff will have paletas.
Well, there's a lot of activities here.
Yeah.
Super fun.
And free paletas. That's what I like.
Bonus,
about
right?
Just go for that.
Yeah. Although we got some good rain last night.
Yes,
it was so wonderful to see the rain, even though there were some issues with flooding and even some localized hail. Mainly it was just good rain for us. And this is also good news. Molds not really responded. Molds are still low at 120. Also more good news. The aquifer is actually up more than 7/10 of a foot over the past 24 hours. Looks like the aquifer is dancing. It's so excited. All right. By the way, though, we still need a lot more rain. And we do have opportunities for rain over the next several days. The highest chance will be tonight, particularly after midnight. I'll have those details coming up.
All right, so we loved the rain last night. It was loud though.
And a little behind the scenes, we were just talking about how bleary-eyed we were because the storms did keep a lot of us up last
And you
night.
did an amazing job with our weather team doing all of that. We know a lot of you were watching.
Couldn't have done it without Shelby, Adam, and everybody working behind the scenes. And especially even you sending in your pictures to KSAT Connect. So thank you, everyone. Again, good rain last night. Here's a look at the aquifer. You can see the Edwards Aquifer, the contributing zone there up in the hill country in the green. Anything that falls on that has the potential to trickle down into the recharge zone. In this blue area, that's where if the rain falls right over the recharge zone, it goes straight into the aquifer. So let's go ahead and take a look at how much rain fell straight into the aquifer last night, really over the last 24 hours near Medina Lake. Take a look at that. 2.5, 3 inches of rain. And then in Bexar County, right over the recharge zone, we're talking areas like Helotes, Chavano Park, Hollywood Park, UTSA area, just south of San Geronimo, more than 4 inches of rain. Look at all of this rain that fell right along that recharge zone of the Edwards Aquifer. That's why we've seen the aquifer go up more than half a foot in the last 24 hours, and we fully expect it to continue to rise. But what's fascinating is we were just talking about how SAWS is having a meeting right now about water resources. According to SAWS, we would need 20 more nights like last night to be up to date with the aquifer. That's impressive. That would be a lot more rain. So we still need more. As we take a look at the visible satellite and radar, we've just really got some showers out south of Cotulla and in northern Webb County. Otherwise, skies are starting to clear here in San Antonio. For the rest of the afternoon, it's going to be warm, but not nearly as hot as the last few days. We're going to be at 87 for the high. Then this evening, as you're heading home or as the kids are heading home, some kids are still in school, should be fairly dry, but later on tonight, particularly after 10 p.m., that's when we have higher chances for storms once again in San Antonio. Not quite as much coverage as last night, but what we'll be watching is storms that develop out west nearer to the border, near Del Rio, right around 8, 9 o'clock. We'll watch out to the west. If these storms can hold on and make it to San Antonio, they'd be in the Hondo-Cotulla area by 2 o'clock in the morning, starting to see some rain in San Antonio with some rumbles of thunder pretty much after midnight, a possibility. But again, there is a chance that those storms fall apart before they make it to San Antonio. Just giving you a heads up. Odds right now do favor them making it here, about a 60% chance of that. And then throughout the day tomorrow, there is a continuing chance for a few spotty showers and storms, depending on what happens on the storms with the storms overnight tonight. Regardless, you should still be on alert for storms this evening. Make sure you have that KSAT Weather Authority app. Make sure you have a way to stay up to date with the weather in the overnight hours while you're sleeping, because whatever storms develop, there is that risk for severe weather. More so west toward Del Rio, but still San Antonio under that too on a scale of 1 to 5 for a risk of severe weather. And what we'll be monitoring after 10 p.m. for main threats would be large hail and gusty winds. But because we've had so much rain, we'll also be monitoring for street flooding as a possibility. How much rain could we see, additional rain? I think this shows that the rain is going to be very streaky in nature. Unlike last night when it was pretty widespread, there are going to be some that miss out completely on the rain. And then there are going to be others that perhaps get another 3 to 4 inches of rain in spots. So it's something to keep our eyes on. We'll be up to date with you all night long. A 60% chance overnight tonight, tomorrow 40% chance. Look at those high temperatures though. By Friday, a front moves through and it allows for us to see highs only in the 80s Friday, Saturday, and not too hot on Sunday as well. I mentioned that SAWS says we need 20 more nights like last night to see the aquifer respond. Here's the thing. I've got to look at how much rain we would need to get out of a drought, and that number is staggering.
All right, Sarah, we look forward to that. Thank you.
Our latest great grad gets high marks in the classroom and on the dance floor. What she says is next for her. A New Braunfels High School senior walks away with a list of academic accolades and personal wins in dance.
Yeah, but what many will remember is her smile that radiated kindness and the positive energy that she spread. Our Patty Santos takes us to meet great graduate Sofia Perez.
My name is Sofia Perez. I go to New Braunfels High School and I plan to attend the University of Incarnate Word. I got top 10% in my school.
Sofia Perez looks at the many trophies and awards the Montesera's varsity dance team has collected in recent years.
It's a really good opportunity for our team to bond, and so these are awards. At the bottom, we got sweepstakes. Although it makes me really sad that I'm gonna be leaving, I just hope that I left a legacy here and that people look back and remember me for always coming into practice with a smile.
Not only dance, which is your passion, right? But you're also really good at what you do in school, which is learn. Tell me about some of the achievements.
Yes, so I completed all levels of Spanish, including AP Spanish 4 and 5. I am number 20 in my class.
¿Muchas veces a Monterrey?
Sí, cada verano.
Sofia is also an avid volunteer at several community churches. In college, she'll work to become a pediatric nurse. Dance will continue to be a part of her journey.
No, I don't plan on majoring in dance, but I want to try out for the team at my university, so hopefully that goes well.
I love it. And I love that with all of this, it's been hard, but that smile, I could see why that positivity that you bring just to life. Is that just part of who you are?
Yeah, I think I have a lot of joy in my relationship with Jesus, and he just really I don't know, I just found a lot of peace in my life.
You're gonna have to teach me a move, like the simplest move for 2 left feet.
Okay, I'll do a pirouette. Okay, so you're gonna come out in the T, your arms in the T and your foot out, and you're gonna bring it to the back and your arm's gonna make an L, and then you're gonna turn over your right shoulder on your left leg. and you're gonna go like this. Yeah.
Like I did it once.
Yeah.
High five. Thank you. Good teacher.
Yeah, Patty.
Awesome job, right? Patty did well, and also congrats to Sophia, of course. Well, if you caught the travel bug this long weekend, now might be that time to start booking the summer trip, how to snag the best deals.
And as summer travel season heats up, are you keeping your private information safe? From cafes to airports, it's become second nature for a lot of us to find and connect to free Wi-Fi, especially when traveling abroad. But with a growing number of cyber threats, the free Wi-Fi could cost you. Welcome back. 79 degrees, but the main thing we need to talk about is last night's rain. I remember laying awake in the middle of the night, Sarah, thinking, oh, this is going to be so good for the aquifer.
And wow, I
was thinking about that. I spent enough time with you guys.
She spends enough time about us. She knows about the aquifer. She knows about the aquifer level. She also knows that we are under exceptional drought in San Antonio. What I've done here is you can see the exceptional drought in that dark red color, and I've overlaid last night's rain on top of the drought. And you can see just how much good rain fell over that area of exceptional drought, which is that dark red color there. So some good rain. And by the way, a lot of you all have sent in your pictures of the rain gauges. This is at Los Reyes Canyons in the northwest side. 3 inches of rain there. Let's continue to look at a few more of these. This is more than 3 inches, 3.5 inches of rain in the Scenic Oaks area and Leon Springs area. About 2 inches of rain, Northeast Baptist Hospital. Really wonderful to see that. And then about 1 inch of rain in Adkins. So even though southeastern Bexar County did not receive as much rain as northern San Antonio, we all received some good rain. Unfortunately, there was also some hail. This is a look at somebody's windshield of their car on the far west side. Hail larger than the size of quarters out there, closer to tennis ball size. Now, we do have additional chances for storms tonight, and yes, a small risk for hail as well. I'll have the latest coming up.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, President Donald Trump is taking Vladimir Putin to task over the latest round of drone and missile attacks on Ukraine. As ABC's Rachel Scott reports, those strikes killed dozens of people across the country.
President Trump using some of his harshest words yet against Vladimir Putin after Russia unleashed a new round of drone strikes on Ukraine, the largest aerial bombardment since the start of the war.
I'm not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people, and I don't know what the hell happened to Putin. I've known him a long time, always gotten along with him, but he's sending rockets into cities and killing people, and I don't like it at all.
Russia launching 900 drones in just 3 days, killing dozens of Ukrainians and injuring more than 100 people. President Trump taking to social media writing, Putin has, quote, gone absolutely crazy, saying the push to control Ukraine will lead to the downfall of Russia. The Kremlin dismissing his words, saying Trump is a man showing signs of, quote, emotional overload. Putin has repeatedly ignored Trump's calls for a ceasefire, even after the president had what he described as an excellent 2-hour call with the Russian leader just a week ago. Ukrainian President Zelensky, who has agreed to a ceasefire, now calling for new and strong sanctions against Russia from the United States, from Europe. But the president slamming Zelensky too, saying the Ukrainian president is doing his country no favors by talking the way he does, adding, everything out of his mouth causes problems. I don't like it, and it better stop.
Well, Harvard University is getting hit hard by the Trump White House. President Donald Trump telling federal agencies to end the government's contracts with the school. Those are worth about $100 million. That's according to 2 senior administration officials who add the directive also calls for the government to find new vendors so the federal funds can be redirected to them. President Trump also posted a statement on social media saying he's also considering taking $3 billion worth of grant money from Harvard and sending it to trade schools.
It is the final stretch of a busy term for the U.S. Supreme Court. The 6-3 conservative justices started off in October with blockbuster appeals over transgender rights and TikTok. And more than half of the cases, it's argued, are still pending. The High Court has more and more become wrapped up in President Donald Trump's emergency appeals. The justices now have a lot of work to do before the term ends in late June. They are poised to decide cases on birthright citizenship, transgender care for minors, and expanding religious rights.
Well, summertime is vacation time, and as you might make yourself at home in other cities, you might opt to use public Wi-Fi. But that convenience could come at a price. CNN's Michael Yoshida with what you need to know to keep your data safe when you travel.
When traveling, staying connected has become a necessity.
Wi-Fi or connectivity is very much like water and air.
But experts warn
free and public Wi-Fi access points can be fraught with danger.
Personal data can be big business for hackers and scammers, leading to an ever-growing number of threats to be aware of. A big one, the man-in-the-middle or evil twin Wi-Fi scam.
A Wi-Fi network that looks like the real legitimate one, but it's actually run by somebody who could be very nearby, trying deliberately to intercept your data. Passwords, logins, they could even hack into your computer.
Internet security expert and CMO president Eric Plam says these are some things to remember when connecting to that cafe, airport, hotel, or other public and free Wi-Fi. Be wary if it's too easy, even if free. Cafes, airport lounges, or hotels often ask for a password or room number. Once you do connect, check to make sure you're browsing on a secure site. You can do that by looking at where you type in a web address. It should say HTTPS. There also might be a symbol of a padlock, though this isn't always guaranteed to be safe according to the FBI. You should also refrain from logging into bank accounts or conducting sensitive transactions. And if you want to go a step further, buy a VPN or virtual private network, a service provided by lots of different vendors which creates a secure tunnel between your device and whatever site you're visiting. But the best option, according to Plam, use your own hotspot.
This is the most secure and convenient way to go.
In Washington, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
Well, the summer travel season is set to take off, even though there's been some turbulence in the air industry. And part of what could fuel that travel boom, cheap flights, especially to vacation spots overseas. So U.S. air travel witnessed a bumpy start to 2025 with safety incidents, fatal accidents, and an air traffic control meltdown that is expediting plans for an overhaul of the whole system. However, summer is usually a boom time for airlines, and this year should be no different. The Federal Aviation Administration is expecting the busiest summer in 15 years. Plus, beach destinations like Aruba, the Dominican Republic, and Costa Rica are much cheaper this time of year. So those areas attract crowds. Plus, flights to Europe could get as low as $500 or less.
Year over year, we're seeing domestic prices down 13%. International down a little bit less, still down 6%. So it is really the summer of savings. And even if you haven't booked and you're booking last minute, there are a ton of deals out there. We're talking Delta, American, United to Europe under $500. We really haven't seen prices like that on the major airlines in years.
And if you are looking to play tourist in the lower 48, travel expert Emily Coffin says you can find cheaper flights and hotels in places like the Florida Keys or Scottsdale, Arizona this summer if you're willing to brave the heat. And price trackers can help you find the best deals.
Set your flight price tracker so you can see not only when those prices change, but when they are predicted to go up.
Well, she tells us not traveling on weekends can help you save as well. And Hollywood might be over 1,000 miles away. Why San Antonio might be closer to the action than you might think.
And a star-studded award show tapped into music fans' nostalgia. Well, the American Music Awards brought together some big names.
And as ABC's Sam Champion reports, there were performances from Rod Stewart, Gwen Stefani, Jennifer Lopez, Gloria Estefan, and of course, Janet Jackson.
Fans flipping for music's hottest stars. Benson Boone keeping his suit on this time around. The night was a mashup of new and old music.
I wanna dance.
Starting with J-Lo, not only hosting the American Music Awards, but opening with a 7-minute long medley of the year's biggest hits. A throwback-fueled show including the Hollaback Girl herself, Gwen Stefani, turning up the energy. And Janet Jackson taking the stage for her first televised performance in 7 years. Hitting all the right notes with a medley of her biggest hits. Accepting the Icon Award, but rejecting the label itself.
I don't consider myself an icon. My family, myself, our dream was It wasn't ever to be famous. That we weren't raised like that. We always had a special love for music, dancing, and singing, and fame came with the result of hard work and dedication. My story, my family's story, it's truly an American story.
Let me hear you on your knees. And then the legends in the spotlight. Gloria Estefan back at the AMAs after 3 decades. 5 of Rod Stewart's 8 children there to surprise him with a Lifetime Achievement Award.
I am absolutely flabbergasted. I didn't know they were here.
And the 80-year-old closing out the show with Forever Young.
Were you flabbergasted?
I was
flabbergasted by the rain.
Absolutely.
I'm so
no,
sorry.
I was not.
British.
I was not surprised.
We're so
Yeah, we're sorry. We actually have British coworkers.
We do.
So, sorry, Will. Okay, take a look at the lightning last night. Oh my goodness, that was loud. Cracks of lightning, lots of rainfall. Thank you to everybody who sent in pictures on KSAT Connect. In the pollen count, molds are low. That's some good news, and some more good news. The aquifer is up 0.7 of a foot over the past 24 hours. But here's the thing, it's still almost 40 feet below the monthly average. It would take a lot more rain for us to see the aquifer recover to its average levels. And how much more rain would we need throughout the summer to see drought come to a complete end? Those details coming up. Well, during the break, we were just complaining about the humidity. But here's the thing. At least we got some rain, right? And at least it's not as hot as it was about a week and a half ago. Remember when we were dealing with temperatures well above 100? Well above average? Well, over the next couple of days, we're going to be near average or even below average, like on Friday with our high of 85. So this afternoon, high temperature of 87. We'll be at 89 tomorrow, 91 on Thursday, 85 on Friday, and right near average over the weekend. A lot of that has to do with the fact that we're going to continue to see some rain chances in our forecast, and we received a good amount of rain yesterday. Here's a look at the rainfall totals around Bexar County and around San Antonio. Bernie, 3 inches of rain. Helotes, more than 3 inches of rain. The airport, 2 inches of rain. Downtown, 1.5 inches. Seguin, 3¼ inches of rainfall out near Seguin. Nearly 3 inches of rain in Hondo and near Medina Lake. About 2 inches of rain closer to Bandera. So some very good rainfall for us over the last 24 hours. But it is going to take a lot more for us to dig ourselves out of the hole that we're in when it comes to drought. In fact, over the next 4 months, so summer rain that would be needed to end drought in San Antonio and surrounding areas, we would need 27 inches of rain in the next 4 months to see drought come to a complete end. We'll take any little bit we can get to help drought be ameliorated, but in order for us to see it come to an end, we would need that much rain. That's how bad our drought is. And in the hill country, we'd need 21 inches of rain, about 19 inches of rain closer to Laredo to see the drought come to an end. So it's going to take a lot more events like last night for us to be seeing things not as dry out there. And tonight we do have a decent chance for storms, about 60%. Over the next couple of days, though, that chance goes down to about 30 or 40%, but there's still a chance every day through at least Thursday. By the weekend, though, we do dry out. Let me show you the futurecast and what we'll be watching tonight. We'll be watching storms that develop out west near Del Rio, the West Texas wild card, as Adam Caskey likes to call it. These storms, oftentimes they'll fall apart before they reach San Antonio, but there's a 60% chance that they'll make it to San Antonio pretty much after 10 p.m., closer to midnight, through about 5 o'clock in the morning. That's the highest chance for storms around San Antonio. And by tomorrow in the morning hours for the morning commute, I think a lot of things will start to get out of here. But during the afternoon, there's still a chance for a few storms, about 30 to 40% tomorrow. You can see that even in the afternoon and evening hours. Some rain is still possible. And with that rain comes the risk for severe weather. San Antonio and points west are on a 2 on a scale of 1 to 5 for the risk for severe weather, less of a chance for severe weather farther east toward Hallettsville and Gonzales. But that being said, again, we're going to be watching those storms near Del Rio as they develop tonight very carefully because they could contain large hail and gusty winds. And because we have had so much rain locally around San Antonio, street flooding is once again a possibility. But the main threats with any storms that you get overnight would be large hail and gusty winds. So if you can, take those hail precautions. And if you're worried about waking up again in the overnight hours because of those storms, know that we'll have you covered. Make sure to have the KSAT Weather Authority app handy. We'll be live streaming on there and of course on KSAT as necessary. 87 this afternoon, and then again it isn't until after 10 p.m. that we start to see our storm chances really pick up. After midnight, that chance is 60%. And then tomorrow and Thursday, there is a chance for another opportunity for rain, although less coverage. High temperatures will only be in the 80s by Friday and Saturday. I think this weekend is going to be pretty nice. It's good for us to get some of this rain. We just don't want all that nasty stuff like hail and flooding. But at least we got some good rain, guys. We'll be back.
Well, this month during the legislative session, the state's film industry picked up a lot of interest in this as lawmakers are hoping to lure more California production companies to film in Texas. So San Antonio has hit the big screen multiple times. Back in September, the series 1923, the spinoff series to the hit show Yellowstone, reportedly shot a few sequences here.
San Antonio may not be the city you think of when it comes to TV and movie production, but it is happening. Myra Arthur met a filmmaker who ditched Hollywood for his South Texas roots, but still gets to chase that dream. Here's KSAT Explains.
Danny Ramos has been working on big screen productions for 35 years.
Locations manager, I'm a production manager, I'm a producer, I'm a director here in San Antonio.
He studied the film industry at San Antonio College.
Working with John Avildsen in 8 Seconds with Luke Perry and Stephen Baldwin back in the 90s, that was my first gig. Started working on music videos, REM music video. We closed down the I-10.
He went to LA for a while, but there's no place like home.
I'm just trying to give back to my community. Instead of, see y'all later, San Antonio, I'm going to Hollywood and go work on movies and studios out there for Warner Brothers. Why not just bring it back here and be here with my family?
Ramos and local filmmakers like him can do that right here in the Alamo City with the help of the San Antonio Film Commission.
And that's truly what they're here to do. They help local filmmakers find resources to make their films, find locations, and then they also actively recruit productions to come to San Antonio and film in San Antonio.
They act like a local hub for productions that want to film here. Producers may reach out to the Film Commission and say,
hey, we're looking for a downtown street that might look like 1923 Chicago. We're looking for a ranch. We're looking for something that looks like Graham Central Station. And we say, oh, here's our package of locations. Here's some images we have.
The commission keeps a production directory that showcases local spots that look good on camera.
Which is open to anybody in San Antonio that owns property, even cars, to list their piece of property as a place for filming.
They also help coordinate logistics. Things like street closures and communication with businesses that might be impacted by a production. Plus, they help hook up local talent by working with people like Ramos.
It's jobs, just exactly what it is. There's a big opportunity for a lot of local freelancers out there that do either the camera work or assistant directors or makeup or hair, that they can work on these projects at the local.
We all know San Antonio is friendly, but Ramos says it's film friendly too.
To let every vendor know and the companies that work here, we're gonna film here, we're gonna invade your place, but we're gonna bring something beautiful to your place, something that we're all gonna be proud of.
There is an economic generator for businesses in that area because it's not just shut down and thank you so much for shutting down for us, but we're also going to pay you for the time that you've been shut down.
And here's another added benefit to shooting productions on city property. Permits are free.
In other cities, you might have to spend $250 a permit per location per day.
Even when shoots take place on private property, the Film Commission helps make those connections between locations, owners, and local talent, local dreamers like Ramos.
We're all going to benefit from this, and we get to survive and live here in San Antonio and still do the Hollywood thing and live that dream.
All right, tonight, a highest chance for storms over the next few days. Again, we have a good chance for some storms to make it from the border to San Antonio tonight. We'll keep you posted. Those storms would be capable of large hail, gusty winds, but we'll be watching things. Otherwise, we've got a few more opportunities here and there for rain Thursday and Friday. But all in all, active weather pattern and highs only in the 80s on the weekend.
We'll take that.
Thanks so much for watching. Have a